So, wait. Now that I want to start, I started to wonder about one thing. Did I give you XP for last session?
I think so, yes. Hold on, I'll look.
Go with everything, because
yeah, Sigmund Demkov wrote 500, so yes, I gave you. I found it in chat. So, never mind, false alarm, I figured out. Okay, so yeah, last time you had a meeting with Eldar and a little bit, or actually quite a lot of team drama. Fuck, why is it team drama? With Morana and Atlantis. So, when we fade in for this particular episode, we see Moriana sitting alone in her cell, and although we're watching that through security camera, as like there's a guy sitting in like room with plethora of monitors, monitoring different sections of ship. And suddenly there's like flicker on one of the monitors, the one that points at Moriana's cell, and obviously he like calls in, like informs about potential back or strange occurrences. But the thing is, at the same time, near the cell, there is soon to be Mayor Kenneth, who for the last like half a minute was just standing outside of Moriana's cell, just having very contemplative look on his face, like opening his mouth once, trying to figure out something to say, then closing it.
Is he like right outside the cell or like behind the door or screen?
Like, I imagine this cell, like, that's the question, is the cell like with like glass, reinforced glass, or is there like typical steel bars that you can see through?
I have not the foggiest.
Me neither, in all honesty.
Okay. Yes, I'm not gonna say that this is actually one of the fancier ships, so it has like reinforced power glass or something along the lines, so Moriana can see him as he came.
Is it... Can you hear through it, or is the noise outside... Yeah, I guess the noise outside would be blanked out.
I mean, not really. It's like... it depends on settings. Like, he can... If he wanted to... It's like, you know, in prisons, when you like... You have to... Somebody needs to let you talk, so you can...
Yeah.
Like a phone, almost like that. So,
Okay.
yeah... like you see that he responds to Vox message, probably from that security guy. Then he looks around, reports that everything's clear here, and then just comes closer, pushes the button so that you can hear what he says, and he will like only say one thing before leaving, because that's the no. Kenneth is not the main thing here, and just says. My words probably are worthless to you, but for what it is worth, maybe if anything, I'm really sorry for all of this. And then he'll turn around and leave the brick area. And somehow, even though normally brick, obviously they have like few guards, of course when somebody's in here they have like a guard or two patrolling the area, but Moriana finds herself that at this point like nobody's near her cell. And then in the corner of her cell, like suddenly, like I imagine Moriana came closer to thing, but like on the edge of her eye, suddenly she hears voice slightly behind her, like coming from a corner of the room. Voice of a man that she knows, although that sounds slightly younger, and the first thing she hears is, "Oh, well, I didn't exactly expect you to end up in this place."
She looks around,
Interesting.
somewhat startled.
Yeah, you have 3 guesses to figure it out who is it.
I would only need the one, I think.
Yeah, I know who it is out of character, but in her state, I mean, Zhao said he was alive, and I'm not sure if she believes that. Let me just roll a willpower.
Oh, and just as like Morena looks at Benjamin, we get a short, like, quick Gilligan cut to security room again, and as we look at security camera pointing at exactly Moriana's brick, nothing changed. Like, Moriana is just doing whatever she did normally, just either sitting, meditating, being quiet. There are no changes at all. And then we cut back to Moriana's cell itself.
She yeah, that's pretty harsh fail. Grabs at the sides of her head, one hand on each side over the temples, and starts to recite a prayer to the Emperor, in the sense that she believes this is not Benjamin, but the voice of a demon or something trying to catch her attention or whatnot. And she chants aloud. Doesn't respond to the actual actual sentence.
Okay, I mean, he like pushes himself off the wall and just tilts his head slightly. Oh my, if I knew about your reactions, perhaps I would have come sooner, but sorry, just the amount of knowledge that I gained it kinda shifted my priorities, you know? As it's like, basically like walking around you, not really bothering with the fact that you are chanting.
Does she pay any credence to what he says? Okay. So the chanting gradually dies down, and her eyes lock onto this person and follows the image, whatever, after image around the room as he walks.
So,
She doesn't say
believing that
anything yet.
I am who I am, or should I figure out something that will maybe not make you believe, but some. I might say it might be interesting intellectual challenge.
What was the name of the compound again? Sorry.
That's you ask in character.
Out of character.
Blackstone Heart.
Blackstone Heart. You died within the labyrinth of Blackstone Heart.
Yes and no. Yes, in a sense that in every mortal definition, indeed I suffered body failure, and every other medic worth his salt, worth his guilt would declare me. On the other hand, the entire thing with Abelard, that demon, while being inside the core of a very potent warp weapon, made me remember and realize that death is merely an inconvenience for me. And I have very peculiar connection to Immaterium, I guess. That's the easiest way to explain it to you.
Why should I believe any of this nonsense? I've not even heard of such things. Such things occurring to people. Death is an inconvenience. You should be at the Emperor's side. not here before me as a younger version of yourself?
Perhaps it is by his design that I'm still here. He shrugs. I don't know.
And how do you explain those markings? She gestures towards the foreign edges on his face that you mentioned last session.
Yeah.
Look almost demonic, of Xeno origin, and then some that are more ancient that I have no idea what they are. Or considered ancient, I guess.
Well, they are. Do they mean that I fell to chaos? No. Do they mean that, well, past or not, traveling through warp or not, nobody is able to completely forget what one saw? Shit. What I'm trying to say? Yeah, that's all he's saying in character. I mean, what are you asking exactly? Are you asking if I'm demon or fell to chaos? Then I can answer both to the questions that no, I haven't.
She
And
narrows
to
her eyes somewhat.
everything else, well, that's what you think, and I imagine an entire ecclesiarchy would decry me as a heretic and try to kill me on sight. Perhaps, I mean, I don't blame their faith, but there are, by traveling, warping, seeing entire past of not only humanity, I fully imagined how much knowledge have we truly lost. Obviously.
You have to answer to May, where did you come from? Why are you here now? How did you get here?
I would ask you if you saw a certain old Terran movie, but sadly I remember that I am the only one that probably knows it was even produced. And out of character, he's referencing Lucy. I don't know if any of you watched it.
For what story?
Lucy movie with
No.
Scarlett.
I have not.
And well, how I appeared here, normally, as I said, let's say that I have way many ways of travel than anybody else, and webway, warp, I just know many paths, and I like to...
Webway. She says, Eldar? No, not so dummy.
Yeah.
Did Moriana know? Yeah, she was there for the Eldar wanting something. She just didn't go to the meeting. Wait.
Not Eldar themselves, they didn't really give me permission,
Eldar?
I can just use it. And then like he shows you that basically when you blink, like he doesn't even move, he like appears in like different corner of your cell, the next one, like seemingly without anything really. You don't feel any like cold winds of a warp or anything of sort. Although, now that you remind me, speaking of Eldar, I mean, you have my suspicions, so I will just give my piece and then leave. If you'll solve. Well, I was kinda curious why it didn't show up at Eldar ship. So, after I pulled out some of my knowledge from my head, because there's way too many of it and I need to organize it, I decided to check up on you and perhaps give you alternative way of retiring. Because for now, if I understand the situation correctly, you will be going back to Scintilla, and
She looks blankly at Benjamin and says, I am not afraid of death. I will likely be executed, and that bothers me little.
it will be.
I've already come to terms with that, and that's exactly what I wanted to happen within the fortress.
Well,
Just after getting to you and Appalard, but apparently you're here now, which defies the laws of everything.
that's kind of
Well, I mean, nobody just leaves the Inquisition, they flee. And to her, she was thrown in the self-insubordination, and you're an interrogator, so yeah, she doesn't know that.
I'm pretty sure Xanthis doesn't have execution. I mean, I might be many things, I learned many things, but I still remember that one saying, lives are Emperor's currency, spend them well, and you are one hell of a guard. I mean, they probably might mind wipe you, so you'll lose that suicide streak. Like, he doesn't really smirk, but he like tries to say it like as a joke. Perhaps Mariana doesn't react to it well.
I would say you know nothing of what happened, but if you are what you truly say, and you're capable of all the things you have stated, then you know full well what happened. My past on the planet of Mara.
Yes, and to be honest, I understand many things, but I really, perhaps that's good that I really don't get it.
I am not in the mood to jest. Please just get to the point.
Okay, the point is, if you really still want, I remember rather I saw your meeting with Farseer, that first one with Lord Inquisitor and the other. And well, if you want to meet with her, or if you want to retire and stay with Eldar, I'm sure Farseer will take you under her wing.
Oh god, I'm not sure. She just raises an eyebrow at that. And why would she do that? It would cause a rift within the people she's trying to work. A rift between her and the people she's trying to work with. Ergo, this sect of the Inquisition.
Well, it will.
Stepping on Caden's toes is not something she should do lightly.
He waves his hand. I'm pretty sure Lord Inquisitor won't blow a gasket.
No, but other individuals might.
You and I both know that this alliance it's sure nice and dandy, but I perhaps
It's not going to end.
I perhaps should say. I mean, I said the same thing to Xanthis and others that I seen. Maybe not exactly present. Present is a bit of a stretch, but past. And you know, day before, yesterday, 2 days ago, and also now in the past. Well, so let's just say I have like an insight of their talk, or rather what Zhao was talking with.
I'm not even going to ask, but one thing does strike me as odd. Why do you not just remain on this ship with people you know? Why are you essentially being subjugated by the Elder, allowing them to pick at your brain?
Mariana.
That is what they will do.
Mariana, my friend who took me out of the slums and fixed my pitfall history. It's not really Eldar are picking my brain, it's just I'm giving them some of the information. For example, about the Garden of Nogul and Isha. I think it will be for the best if they get some knowledge to battle the great. So that Imperium will be
They will
easier.
want more and more and more. You cannot expect to allow you to stay with them for an elongated period of time
You are saying...
without transferring knowledge. They only do things that... This is
Let
almost
me
hypocritical
tell
of
you a
myself to
story.
say this.
If you... Or rather, I would just touch you and show what happened, but you already clearly distrustful me, so I don't want to risk. I don't want you to think that I mess with your head. And then, of course, if you listen, and then like, wait for a moment.
Just make it quick.
And then like you see that obviously he was all chirpy and kinda acting like slightly mad scientist and whatnot. And then you realize that like his mask fall, like you see the face of a man that looks young, but like his eyes and face is like cold blank stare. This is the face of a man who stared into oblivion and abyss for a long. And then he sighs. Well, to explain shortly why nor Eldar nor anybody really, not even Imperium, will have anything to say about my imprisonment and where I am and with who I am. Well, long story short, at the very beginning during my war troubles I didn't have enough control, so more or less I ended in Nurgle's tender hand. And truly, he only needed few weeks to utterly break my mind and spirit while testing his new diseases. But as I realize, time heals all the wounds, even the mental ones. So as I plunged into deepest parts of insanity, I saw it. But during those parts of insanity, I figured out one thing, and that connects with my connection with Immaterium and Materium. At the very lowest point, I did what was perhaps one of the grave offenses. I just wanted to die. But I didn't really had anything to kill myself with, nor I could control my body. So I started to think really hard, and try to figure it out if I can do something with my mind. And yes, I could. Boundaries. I experimented with them and pushed them away. I don't have any simpler terms. I tried to commit existential suicide. And it worked. For a moment. I came back from that. Thankfully, not in Garden of Nurgle. And then he says, it matters not to me if you believe me or not. Although one last thing, there are many great things, great commodities that can be gained in Imperium, but as I see in the past, to Old Terra, there's the greatest commodity of all. And after helping Eldar, I will be on my merry way, somewhere in the galaxy. That's my big grand plan. And like he scoffs. And he clearly looked like his period of imprisonment with Nurgle, if true, obviously Morgana might think it's not true, is still a painful and sore point.
She, much like myself, trying to figure out what to say, spends probably about about 5 minutes in silence, much like Kenneth earlier, she time and time again opens her mouth as if about to speak, but fails to do so each time until eventually realizing this is probably not the moment to pick at the open wound and change the subject. That says, well, it's not really changing the subject, but not prying, so to speak. So, when you have helped the Eldar, you will be leaving.
Yeah. I fully understand, compared to Altera, why Imperium is as it is. I fully understand why God Emperor of Mankind decided to go with Imperial Creed is the divinity, or is it Imperial Truth? Out of character question, because I don't want to mix. I don't know, never mind. He says, I fully understand why he went with Lectico
Sorry,
Divinatus.
I was muted. I was muted. The Emperor did the Imperial, which expressly said that gods do not exist. The Imperial Creed came after the Emperor. Well, actually, that's not true. The Lectitio Divinitatis, which was written by Lorgar, came before the Emperor was put in the throne, put onto the golden throne for the.
Yeah, it was about the name, because I.
Yeah. The creed is the religion, the truth is the philosophy.
Yeah.
They're two separate things, and they're two contradictory things.
Understand why he went with Creed, I understand why Imperium is as it is. If Imperium was as the humans of Altera, it would not really survive. Alas, I cannot bring myself to just live and serve in it.
Maran, she doesn't look off into the distance, but it looks like she's... Well, it's 1,000-yard stare.
Not in the way that Inquisition or High Lords of Terra would expect me to.
She gives a 1,000-yard stare, a few more moments in quiet contemplation, and just utters, "You say that the Imperium is already caving in on itself. It already wishes to... No, it already is exterminating billions upon billions of their own kind just because they won't bend the knee and are deemed traitors."
I wish not to say it. I did not dare to look into future. Not as the oracles of Tzeentch.
I'm just going from what I'm seeing.
Yes.
And of course referencing your own people.
Believe me, Morana, as bad as the things are, they're gonna get much worse. That's the feeling I... Still, I will help in my own way. Retaining my freedom, traveling, but also trying to make sure that galaxy is not devoured by tyrannies, nor conquered by chaos, no subjugated by Necrons. But if anything else fails, I might as well find a way to travel to another galaxy. Maybe there won't be chaos there. But yeah, and he tries to put his mask again. So, yes, that's morbid. Just regarding that Eldar. First year, I don't know, maybe that's out of curiosity. Maybe she remembers that you wanted to meet her and talk with her. Shrug. If you want to accept the invitation, okay. If not, then no. If you only want just for a moment to meet her, then it's really your choice.
It is not the Eldar.